Paula Deen has not been having a good month, but finally things are turning up a little bit good for her. Thomas George Paculis was recently arrested. He was trying to blackmail her, saying that he had information about some of the things that she had said that would hurt her even more than the quotes we've already been exposed to in print and in video. I can't believe what those could have possibly been, but he thinks it was worth up to $250,000, which is what he was asking Paula Deen to pay him. Now, we've got an email that he sent to Deen's lawyer, Greg Hodges, and understand that immediately after this email, they began working with the FBI to snare this guy. By the end of this, you're going to realize that he's a complete knucklehead. He doesn't know. He's a terrible criminal, as so many tend to be. But the email that he initially wrote back on June 24th, several days after the first Paula Deen statements came out, said, "I'm about to go public with statements refuting your client's statements about using the N-word in her business practices at Ladies and Sons. The statements are true and damning enough that the case for Jackson will be won on its merit alone." He eventually went on to say that the statements that he had access to that he would publish would damage your client in so many ways that it would sink your ship before it left the dock. Now, as I said, after that initial email, the lawyer for Paula Deen communicated with the FBI. The FBI informed him that you should continue to work with this guy, email back and forth. And eventually, when they negotiated the price from $250,000 down to just $200,000, they were talking with Paculis about how they were going to transfer the money. And he said that he was currently house sitting in New York, didn't have a car, and didn't know how he was going to collect the money. Shouldn't you plan, if you're going to blackmail like a big celebrity like Paula Deen, shouldn't you have a plan for how you're actually going to get the cash from her? Like, you have to assume that when you blackmail a celebrity like this, if it doesn't go through the way you want, there's actually a paper trail and you get caught, you're going to go to jail. So maybe plan ahead a bit. So eventually they did arrest him. He's being charged with extortion right now. I don't know what the penalties for that is. I assume he's going to go to jail for quite a while. But anyway, it is interesting that after the last few weeks where this horrible news about Paula Deen has come out, she's lost her book deals, she lost her Food Network thing, she lost her endorsement with the diabetes company. Finally, some good news for her. The man that was trying to blackmail her is going to jail. And finally, I want to say a little bit, I guess, against what I'd been saying about Paula Deen. So I feel kind of bad for her because I think that it's perfectly fine for the Food Network to cut her contract. I think it's perfectly fine for her book deal to be taken away because those companies made the, I believe, responsible decision that being associated with the Paula Deen name was going to lose the money, and they're perfectly free to do that. But like the porn like deals that are being offered to her, the guy trying to blackmail her and everything, like, I feel bad mostly in this whole thing about the employees of hers that were discriminated against. I'm not as concerned about her personal beliefs about African Americans. I think that that's getting into the area of thought crime. But like, let's back off with the blackmail and with the porn deals. She's already been through a lot. She's gonna lose a ton of money. Now, in the end, she is gonna be fine because she's a millionaire. And as I predicted last week, in 6 months or a year, she's probably gonna have a new book coming out. And by the way, as a little side note, her previous book is like selling at all-time highs now, so everything's not horrible for her. But the blackmailing is completely unnecessary. I am a little bit curious about what those statements were, but considering the way that he tried to conduct this whole business deal, I have a feeling he didn't really have anything anyway.